Well, kia ora and welcome into the Harness Half Hour, now proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. I'm Jess Smith, and this week on the show, Tony Herlihy joins us to talk about Tickle Me Pink's road to recovery and to the IRT Harness Jewels. Margo Nyhan kindly chats to us also following her huge day at Washtike on Sunday with Madeline Stowe and Overzealous. We also hear from Amber Hoffman on her recent milestone of 200 training wins, and Keryn McElroy from Addington Raceway updates us on the latest news in regards to the IRT Harness Jewels Day at Addington. And as usual, Richard Wilson is with us from the bookies desk. But first, here are the headlines. The Addington Premier Night wrapped. First of all, Bella Montana, of course, was successful in the Nevillear Fillies final, wearing the Harness Jewels leaders' colours. The PGG Wrightson 2-year-old trot final was won by Ultimate Stride, and the Ara des Trotteurs Aged Trotters Classic went to Valoria. Meanwhile, at Auckland, the feature there was won by Tickle Me Pink, which was the Northern Trotting Guineas. And at Winton on Saturday, Ume Collette continued his winning way, winning his 5th career start to remain unbeaten, pacing the mile in 1:53.1. Well, of course, we're only a couple of weeks out, well, a week or so out now from the cut-off for the IRT Harness Jewels and qualifying for the fields, and picking up maximum dollars again last week was Tickle Me Pink, and trainer-driver Tony Herlihy is with me. Tony, how are you feeling as we're getting ever closer to the Jewels and the performance of Tickle Me Pink last week?
We're wrapped with the way she's come back, Jess. Obviously, from a bit of a setback she had in the winter time over in Australia, and took the Brecken team down at the farm there a wee while to sort, get it right with their vet and everything. And she had a sort of like an abscess in her body somewhere, and it took a while to sort that out. But yeah, so we're wrapped the way she's come back and the way she seems to be coming through the races. So all so far so good.
Was there ever an indication, was it ever touch and go, Tony, as to whether she'd get back to her best potentially?
Yeah, well, when I went back the second time to see her and race her at Maryborough, she looked, she actually looked she looked terrible actually, poor wee thing. She's obviously not well, but to be fair on her, she was still putting in her work and showing, and the test we did on it didn't sort of show anything to say not to start her, and even the vet said, look, she's, to give her a run and see what I thought. And I gave her a run. She might have run third or something, but for her, she was very ordinary. And and to be fair to Ken Brecken and the syndicate, we pulled the pin, even though we were qualified for the Breeders' Crown in a couple of weeks' time or 10 days' time. I said, look, I can't race her like this sort of thing. She's, just looked quite sick to me, and as it proved, she was, and she was just still good enough to go solid races, even being, in a poor condition. Yeah,
testament to just how tough she is. And of course, the family that she comes from is just so strong. So when was it that you first had some hope, Tony, that she might be back to her best or coming back to it at least as close as she could?
Probably when I saw her arrive back at the farm here, after she'd been out for probably close to 6 months. And she come back here, and she looked terrific. His coat was great, and she looked really well in herself and her eye and everything like that. Everything was sort of looked great about her. So I was really wrapped, and I know they'd been wrapped with her the last month or so before she come back here. The way she'd sort of really put weight on and done well. So so hopefully it's all good for the future.
Oh, most certainly. And of course, leading into the Harness Jewels, are you pretty confident with the way she's improving each week, Tony, leading up to the big day?
I have been, really happy with what she's done so far. But then I've seen a couple of Mark 3-year-olds race down south there the other night. That little Oscar Bonavina and Hansha Khan. Well, even if you could run third to those sort of horses, I think it'd be a great thing for a filly. Be a great achievement for her, because they are obviously very strong horses.
But it's so good too, as you say, given the journey that she's been on, and especially with Brecken Farms too. Just a real reward to have her back at a big race day like the Jewels.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And to be fair to her, I think another 12 months' time she'll even be a stronger sort of mare. She's still quite leggy and doesn't carry a heap of condition, but she's looking well in herself and everything like that. And so I think she could just strengthen up to be a real nice mare later on in her life. She's got a lot of natural ability, as we've seen, and hopefully everything stays good with her, and we can see how far we can go with her.
Oh, most certainly. The bloodlines, as mentioned, she's going to have a perfect career as a broodmare regardless. But in terms of the IRT harness, Jules, Tony, you've picked up wins in the past by default with Merc X, but also a driving one with Sky Major. How much would it mean to you to be able to pick up a harness Jules mantle again?
Well, it's been a while, Jess. I know Mark makes it look easy, but they're very hard races to win. You got to have, and sometimes it's towards the end of a season for a young horse, especially, and then we have those other ones that are just been the top horses right through the 4-year-olds and that sort of thing. So, our trotters especially, get so much better all the time, and they're certainly not easy to win. So, just a win would be great, and just some going good races against those sort of company was always an achievement for them too.
Yeah. Oh, most certainly. Well, thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, so I appreciate you taking time out this afternoon and chatting about Tickle Me Pink. It's just great to see her back in winning form. So good luck to you and the team come IRT Harness Jules Day. Can't wait to see you down here.
Yeah, no, thanks very much for that, Jess. And hopefully no bad luck. We'll get a bit of money.
And in social media news headlines from around the world, starting off with New Zealand, we've got the latest on the Australian Jules invites, the feature race winners from the past week, and Amber Hoffman reaching 200 career training wins. They all feature on the HRNZ Facebook page and social media pages. From Australia, expat Kiwi driver Jack McKinnon provided an upset in the New South Wales Trotters Derby, driving Zebek to win for Ben Auburn. The full story is on the Aussie News article on the HRNZ website, or you can follow Adam Hamilton for the very latest on Twitter. And from the USA and Canada, Sha Tin was back in winning action. She won her second consecutive edition of the Chip Noble Memorial for pacing mares on Monday afternoon at Miami Valley Raceway. She only just missed her own track record of 1:49. She missed it by just 1/5 of a second. And for more on Sha Tin and her wonderful season already, you can follow DRF Harness on Facebook. One of the feel-good stories to come out of Mother's Day meeting at Timaru on Sunday was the dual success of Margo Nyhan with Madeline Stowe and, of course, Overzealous. And Margo joins me today on the show. Congratulations, Margo. How did you feel? I know it's a silly question.
No, it was great. Pete was there, and it's actually the first time he's been out and watched the wee grey. So, no, it was good for him to finally see a win, in real life again. First time since the accident. So, no, it was really good.
Okay, and of course, we've got to mention that horrific accident that you were both involved in on Waitangi Day. And Margo, just how far along the recovery process are you, and how long has Pete got left to go?
Well, Pete actually went to Burwood last Friday, and he got the clearance to throw the brace away, so that's great news. So, so we're assuming he'll have to do a bit of physio, but he's braceless now, which he's just loving because he can get out and about. He's just actually outside washing the car, but so he's looking all good. Obviously he can't get back into the horses yet, but he can start doing a wee bit. And I'm probably going a wee bit slower actually. My arm. Well, I've developed a bit of a problem in my hand, and they're talking the possibility that could take up to a year. So, obviously, that's not very good news.
Yeah. And obviously, mentally too, it would have really been a massive thing to overcome. Do you still, have to relive it, Margo, or are you just trying to keep yourself busy?
Well, to be honest, I think mentally, both Pete and I have done really well because we... we realise how lucky we are to be here. And even on the day in A&E, we're kind of, once it's quite obvious we weren't going to die, we're kind of, trying to make jokes and make light of it, because we're alive and we're thinking, well, this is great, we're alive. So, but I think Pete's had one nightmare. I've had none, and I can still, it's vividly clear in my mind, but no, I haven't really had any problems with it, so it's just something you've had to deal with, and we're lucky that we're here to be dealing with it.
Oh, exactly, and the overwhelming support from the harness racing community and the racing community in general, Margo, because you and Pete are such wonderful, positive people. So many people just wanted to come out and help, and that's been reflected by those who stepped up and looked out for the horses for you.
Oh, it's just been incredible. These trainers and that, Stevie Golding came into hospital the next day, and he had a list just of about 20, 25 trainers. They're like, hey, send us a horse, and unfortunately we didn't actually have enough horses, but no, it's just been unbelievable.
Yeah, and of course the success that's come from that, I don't think there was a single person in New Zealand that wasn't screaming for overzealous in the Trotting Oaks. Massive season you guys have had.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Ray Jenkins actually came round and visited, probably about a month ago now, and he was actually down south at the time, and he says, Oaks night, he was in the Winton pub, and he said people at Winton were just standing up and screaming at the TV, it was just, hey, it was New Zealand-wide by the sounds of it, but no, it was just incredible, it was incredible to be part of it, the atmosphere at the time was just, it was out of this world really, but no, I mean, hey, we've been blessed, we've had some great trainers, looking after our horses, and we've been really lucky, every trainer, we've just been completely on the same page. We're thinking, hey, we'd do this, and they're like, oh, well, I think this. It's like, oh, hey, that's exactly what we think. So it's just been marvellous,
Yeah, exactly. And of course, to get 2 wins in one day at Timaru, did you feel like, you're back and better than ever?
Well, in one way, we kind of think, it's just a wee bit different not being completely hands-on. But, it's just, Pete was actually geared up the wee grey yesterday because we took it down, on the Spray and Lodge truck with Brian Fahey. But, yeah, it's just, it's a wee bit different not working them yourself. But, no, it was just great. And, I mean, hey, it was a great effort by Monkey Bones. He actually starred all 3 winners of every 3 trots yesterday. So he was a sire of the maiden trot winner too. So, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly, and what an underrated sire he's been as well, Monkey Bones. And in terms of the harness jewels, Margo, now with that win overzealous as well and truly qualified well and truly in the field for the IRT harness jewels, what a thrill that'll be for you guys on the 1st of June.
It will be, but to be honest, we're only about 95% certain. I've just actually been sitting here going through the noms and depending what plays out, they've got the Great Northern Oaks up in Auckland on Friday night. And there's just, about 2 wee scenarios that could affect us. But no, hey, we're fingers crossed, and it'll be just amazing to be there because, hey, she's been such a brave little horse this season with, everything she's gone through. So, hey, it would just cap it off to have her there on the 1st.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be anxious moments for not only you and the connections, but people will be counting those dollars and as we build into the cut-off. But I just wanted to get you on to have a chat with you around that remarkable achievement yesterday, of course, and celebrating women in harness racing. They were at the club, so it was very fitting to get you to get a couple of successes. But on behalf of the industry, we're absolutely thrilled at the rate in which you and Pete are recovering. So congratulations, Margo.
Thanks so much, Jess. It's just lovely.
Airpark Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Airpark Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Airpark Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Airpark Canterbury. Call 0800 Airpark or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, here on the Harness Half Hour, we love celebrating milestones. And one that did come over the weekend, and an extremely popular one too, was 200 training wins for Amber Hoffman. She joins me now on the line. Amber, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a huge thrill. I didn't think I'd won that many, to be honest.
Well, looking through the records, I guess it is quite hard to follow it because it's broken up into training partnerships. So you had 99 wins with Graham Anderson and then 52 with Johnny Cox, so 49 on your own. That in itself, solo, is a great achievement.
Yeah, no, I've been pretty lucky. When I was training with Graham, we were lucky enough to have a really nice team of horses that won a lot of races. And yeah, and with Johnny too, we got some some quite handy horses there as well. And then, lucky enough, I've had some really loyal owners that have stuck by me and, continued to give me nice horses.
And you're based in one of the most beautiful places in the world too, aren't you?
Yeah, no, Waikowhai, not much goes on socially up here, but for the horses, they absolutely love it. It's an absolute dream for them to be here every day. We have the most amazing beach to work on, and they're just really happy up here.
It was really cool too, Amber. Not many people would have seen it maybe, but you featured on Coast too with the work you do with the horses on the beach.
Yeah, no, I got a phone call one day and they just wanted to, they'd seen us, they were doing some videoing over at Karatani and they were a bit bored with what they were doing and they saw the horses whizzing up and down the beach. They thought, this is pretty cool, we better get in on this. So we were lucky enough to get the phone call and they filmed us, so it was pretty cool.
Was it quite an out-of-body experience watching yourself back on mainstream TV like that?
Yeah, I don't really like watching myself on TV, but it was pretty cool just to see how happy the horses were working down there. It was a good experience.
Oh, most certainly. And just back to your career, harness racing hasn't always been the number one for you, has it?
No, actually thoroughbreds. Thoroughbreds came first. So my granddad and they used to train, and then I was lucky enough to work for Hector Anderton and Steve Anderton, and they taught me so much with them. And Brian Anderton, he's been a huge help as well, and he still sends pre-trainers up here to get worked. So that's where I started from. It wasn't until I met Graham that he sort of pushed me into doing the old standardbreds. Yeah,
and the rest is history, as they say. And would you say, Amber, it's like two different kettle of fish working between the thoroughbreds and standardbreds, or can you kind of cross-code it a wee bit?
They kind of work in really well together. So if we've got any thoroughbreds that are a little bit silly or pull quite hard, we just lead them off the side of the cart with the trotters.
Great.
And they absolutely love it. And sometimes if we're fast working, the gallopers will bowl along beside us, and it keeps their mind sort of a wee bit calmer. It works in really well.
Oh, fantastic. And of course, in terms of your career so far, you mentioned you've been associated with some nice horses. Are there any that really stand out fondly in your memory, Amber?
Yeah, there's a horse, he probably won about 4, maybe 5, a horse called Hone Hike. He was a really, really good horse, but no one ever saw the best of him because his legs were completely buggered. So just for him to win in the races that he did was pretty amazing. He was a very, very tough horse. Of course, Jack Adjusty, he was an amazing animal. He'd had 2 throat operations and still managed to, win a Group 3 and a Group 1. And Yokozuna, he was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was pretty special, and those sort of horses, they were pretty special to me.
Oh, most certainly. And going forward, obviously the team's still firing on all cylinders, but have you got any goals long-term, Amber, that you'd like to achieve?
I'd love to get some more young horses around me. The horses we've got here at the moment, they're really nice and everything like that, but a lot of them have got a few niggly issues and stuff like that. So it would be nice to get a few young ones, and luckily enough, Gerald Cayford, that owns the property where I am, he's bred some really nice young horses. So in a couple of years, we'll have a nice fresh team.
Yep. Are you open to people calling you? Maybe they're listening and they've got some young stock. Are you open to new horses?
Yeah, definitely, all the time. Cool. Yep, no, definitely.
Okay, we'll pick up the phone if you're wanting to try the most relaxing and scenic area of New Zealand for your horse to be broken in and pre-trained. Amber, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy lady, but congratulations again. So well deserved.
Thanks, Jess.
Airpark Canterbury is Christchurch's only 24/7 privately owned off-site airport car parking. If you feel strongly about supporting privately owned business, support Airpark Canterbury. It's only a short drive to the airport in the Airpark Canterbury free shuttle. So if you want the cheapest parking option around, try Airpark Canterbury. Call 0800 Airpark or online at airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, this week marks the final week that horses can qualify for the IRT Harness Duels, which will be held this year on the 1st of June at Addington Raceway. And joining me from Addington Raceway is Keryn McElroy. And Keryn, you and your team are extremely busy at the moment. I've seen all the banners around town and the marketing's everywhere. The Duels message is really getting out, and you guys must be run off your feet.
side, yes, it is pretty exciting. Not many days to go, and it's an exciting feeling building up. You can sort of see the morale of the team and all the marketing out there. There's a vibe. We've got people over personally social messaging, asking us more about it, how can they come on the day, which is really exciting. So yeah, we're very much looking forward to it, but on Saturday the 1st, we say.
Okay, we've got a number of things to update people on, and there's been a bit of messaging out about what the owner's privileges are for the IRT Harness Jewels. Can you just quickly run through, Keryn, what an owner can expect to have on the day at the IRT Harness Jewels?
Sure. No, the owners will receive a welcome pack, and in that welcome pack, each owner will receive 2 lanyards and 2 drink vouchers. And it's really important for when they collect those that they wear them at all times during the day, because that allows them access to the Sapphire Lounge, which is the owner's area on level 1 of Metropolitan Stand, and also again into the stables. So also with those drink vouchers, it's important they come along and enjoy. They can either have it in the Sapphire Lounge or down this year in front on the Blanc de Blanc lawn in front of the Brick and Winners Bar. We're going to have an owner's bar, and feel free to use come and have a drink there before race and really enjoy a bit of festivity there before going up into the seating bowl and watching live action of their horses race round.
Yeah, it's going to be somewhere really special. So if you're wanting to go and have a nervous beverage before your horse races and mingle with some of the other people involved with your horse or other horses in the race, then that's going to be a really exciting concept. And of course, we do have to mention with health and safety, Keryn, that obviously stable access for some of those larger groups, it is restricted to 10 people at a time, just to make sure everyone that's working in those stables is kept safe.
That is correct, yeah, and we thank people in advance and also certificate managers to manage that, and as you say, 10 people at a time. Also probably appropriate time, those welcome packs are available to be picked up from Tuesday the 28th of May from the Addington Raceway office from 9 to 4 o'clock, and then actually on the day, the 1st of June, that's 10:30 onwards. So that's the Tuesday to Friday prior to the day, 9 to 4 at the Addington office, and then on the day from 10:30 onwards in the office again.
Fabulous. There will be communication once the final fields are out. If you do have a horse in the Jewels and you are registered, make sure your email address is registered with HRNZ. You'll get communication about that. And really exciting too this year, Keryn, that Addington wanting to make this an extremely memorable event for owners. So you've got something special planned for the winner of each race.
Yes, we do. We've had really great feedback from owners of lots of surprises they've previously experienced, and we are bringing this year to the IRT Harness Jewels a horse and carriage that will be picking up the owners of each race and doing a wee bit of a victory ride. What's really great about this, Jess, is it's a great team that's coming, and everyone will know these names. Bevan Keryn, the trainer that he trained Nigel Craig, he's actually going to drive the carriage, and he, which is really nice, and his wife, Kaylee McCormack, is going to assist the owners getting on and off the carriage, and she was the 3rd licence holder in harness racing, female in New Zealand, and obviously, more importantly, with the horse, it's a standard breed horse, and what a good home to go to after racing and harness racing.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be a beautiful touch and really, really special as well. But those, again, with numbers, obviously we can't fit 300 witches should Spellbound win into that cart. But we are going to have to ask that syndicates and ownership groups maybe do a bit of a draw out of a hat for 4 people beforehand.
Yes. We're sort of saying about 4 per people, but if they do a bit of a spell, I mean, they may be able to potentially fit 6. You never know, but no, we're looking at 4 per person. So if you think your horse is potentially there and it's really gets across the line, it's then who do you draw the 4 lucky people to go on the carriage? That'd be great, just to keep everything flowing, because there's lots of entertainment in between the races as well. That all the owners and all the enthusiasts to enjoy on the day as well.
Yep, nice touch, very well done. Of course, we do have to mention there are a lot of events going on leading up to the Jewels. I understand the golf day has sold out, so that is fantastic. But also on Thursday night this year, the 30th of May, the IRT Harness Jewels celebration dinner, celebrating the legends of the Harness Jewels.
Yes, it is. Nice way to kick off the festivities on the Thursday night. So there's a lot of people out there that haven't seen each other for ages. So on the Thursday, it kicks off at 6 o'clock in the Silks and Satin Lounge, level 2. Come along, 3-course plate dinner, have a natter with people you haven't caught up for ages, only $70 per person, and the host Greg and Michael and a couple of others going to discuss this amazing race series, but a great way, as you say, Jess, to kick the festivities off for the week.
Yep, there'll be presentations of the Jules leaders, colours for the category leaders, also the Australian representatives too. And Keryn, just on the hospitality side of things, understand Silks and Satin has been really well patronised, but what are some of the options if people are still looking to book and be inside on the day?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, as you say, Silks and Satin is nearly sold out. I'll drop in there, Jess, I know we've discussed previously, but the Trade Me auction with St John's, that's actually happening right now. And I looked at 9 o'clock early this morning, and that's just gone live late last week, and it's up to $800, and there's a couple of people bidding at this stage, but more the merrier. And I mean, that package is just worth for a table of 10 under $3,000, and that you get Lance and champagne for the entire day, along with an exquisite buffet lunch, live entertainment. So that's Silks and Satin Lounge, and that's pretty much nearly sold out. So if you are wishing to have a table there, I would rattle your bags and try and book one definitely in the next couple of days.
Absolutely, and if you're wanting to support the good cause too, all that money, as you mentioned, going to St John's, which we couldn't hold these race days without them, could we, Keryn?
No, exactly, and with the cause, and we love supporting them as much as possible, and so definitely get behind that. All proceeds are going to go to them for what they did for us on the 15th of March. I know you mentioned a couple of others that are on course on the top floor, what we're calling Ruby Lounge on Saturday. It's more of a relaxed environment, so if you want to come with some friends, first in, first serve, on tables or bar leaners, and it's more of a grazing station, drink when you wish, seafood platters, and really, having a few bits. That is a more of a relaxed environment, but great views, as you can imagine, on the top floor, just looking straight out. And just because you're on the top floor, all entertainment's going to be routed everywhere, just for people to be aware that you don't have to be outside to hear the entertainment or what you're seeing through the glass. And then finally, you've got spectators, really casual area, bar leaners, spit roast going on, canterbury lamb, few drinks, can get out to the Lindau lawn, live action. So it's a little bit for everyone. I mean, I know the people that are coming in that wanted to go to the public, the general admission area, gold coin upon donation, again helping St John's with what they do for our industry. That's going to be on top of the stables. So that sort of vibe is going to be sort of like a, bit of a beer hall vibe, yummy barbecue, easy access to the stables if you're needing to see your horse, and then quickly going up to the seating bowls to be right in front of the big screen. There is going to be extra, another big screen brought in specially for the people that are up on the top of the stables looking out. So cause they are a little bit of an angle from the permanent big screen there, Jess, near the winning post, there is another big screen there as well. So we're trying to cater for all areas and looking forward to everyone arriving.
Fabulous.
We've already ordered good weather, so that's great too.
Yeah, well, touch wood, it is looking good in the long range anyway. And Keryn, just for the general public, as you mentioned, there's plenty on offer. So you've got that public marquee at the top of the stables. They can head into Twiggers as well, can't they? So there's plenty of covered areas should it be a little bit chillier.
Oh, absolutely, and definitely. And when I say sort of like a public village vibe on top of stables, there's actually an enclosed marquee in the fact that if the weather is a little bit chilly, with the wind coming in, it is winter. After all, they are going to be covered area there, but if they're wanting Twiggers, absolutely, TVs are in the various areas. It's getting really exciting. The countdown has begun. It's less than 3 weeks, and you can sense with the team as they're really enjoying it and just organising the final touches. Just waiting to hear those final horses that are actually fortunate and have raced so well to be in, and then also getting those exact race times so we can tweak a few things here and there.
Fabulous. Well, Keryn McElroy, thank you so much. And just finally, if people are wanting to find out more about hospitality options or booking at any of these events, how can they do so?
Yes, the easiest way is to go to our website, addington.co.nz. Straight on there, one of the home tiles on the website is IoT options, IoT hospitality. Click in there and you can get all options there. Alternatively, if you wish to call 03 338 9094 and you're wishing to talk to Joe McMaster in regards to hospitality, but any one of us, we're all working on the IoT harness, Jules, so we can assist where possible.
Fabulous. Keryn McElroy, thank you so very much. Can't wait. IoT harness, Jules, not too far away now.
No, it's not. Looking forward to it. Good luck, everybody, leading into it.
Well, of course, we're getting into the business end of qualifying for the harness, Jules, and a lot of punters will be weighing up their futures options, and we'll get to those very shortly with Richard Wilson. But firstly, Richard, a busy enough week for you with Premier Harness Racing and also Forbury Park back there on Thursday night.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Thursday at Forbury, and it was a good start to the week for punters there too. Maharani was an anchor for many. Julia Blige there in race 4. $10,000 bet at $1.55, $2,500 bet at $1.40, and she bolted in there, so that was good for them. 1,800 on Miss Ruby Sunshine at $3.20, also got home in race 3, but the story of that race was a big plunge on Maharani's stablemate, Where's Daddy? He opened at $5 and closed at $2, so a massive move there. There was $360 bet at 5, 300 at both 370 and 320. They were the big ones sort of early, but then $6,000 at 290, 2,000 at 270, and a $4,000 bet at $2.05. So there was plenty of action at the lower prices there, and just over-raced a bit mid-race, but and weak and late, but one to definitely keep an eye on with that sort of support. A couple other big collects there on the night. $1,000 top 3 bets. Deanne Pena at $2.15, Bidders Atom at $2.50, Mad Dog Maddie at $2.15, and that's the story at $1.90. And there's a $1,000 bet on Ideologist at both $2.30 and $2.10. They missed out, as did a $2,900 bet on the last draw at $4.40.
Okay, and from Forbury Park, we head up the road. Premier Harness Racing, of course, at Addington, and a bit of an each-way bet taking the spotlight.
Yes, indeed. A good go here on Doff Your Cap in race 3. $2,000 on to win at $9.50 and $7,500 to run the top 3 at $3.10. So, a great collect there for that punter. And the funny old race there, thankfully, most punters there were into Lone Star Lad, $2,000 at $3.80, and also Monaro Maro, a couple of $1,000 bets at $3.90. They were both very popular against Doff Your Cap. Decent place bet on, I think it was Lone Star Lad, so it wasn't a very good place book for us, but the win, it didn't come out too bad even with that big bet. Other good collects on the night there, $9,000 Ashley Locas at $1.38. There was $4,000 on Chic and Dance to run the top 3 at $1.38. $400 at $18 and $3,000 a place at $3.60 on Spot On. That one, very good run in race 10. Mm-hmm. The Neville Hours Philly final has been a great series. A lot of really good betting contests in the heats. But the final was fairly quiet for a Group 1 there. The $1,000 on Princess Tiffany at $1.80, $2,000 at $1.75, and there was $1,000 on Belle of Montana at $3.10. But otherwise, it was a fairly quiet race. Oscar Bonavina very strongly supported to win race 9, $1,000 and $1,500 bets at $1.85, and there was $1,000 at $1.70 as well, so they all got home. He's now equal favourite for the Jewels at $2 there with his stablemate Enhance Your Calm. Some big bets dipped out on King's Landing, $9,000 at $1.45, $3,000 and $1,000 bets at $1.38, and a couple of $1,000 bets at $1.35. There was $6,000 on Franco Niven at $1.55 to run the top 3, and there was $10,000 bet on Only Me at $1.70.
Yeah, it'll be interesting times too as we get into the final week of money earning, whether Oscar Bonavina will in fact actually get into that field. So intriguing in terms of that. And of course, Friday night we had Alexandra Park playing support card there. Were there any major bets there, Richard?
It was a bit quieter, yeah, as you say. Focus was on Addington, but still some good bets. $2,000 on Soul Ambition at $3.60 was the best. Tickle Me Pink got a lot of her punters home there in race 2. $1,000 at $2.90, $1,000 at $2, $1,800 at $1.90, and $1,500 on at $1.85. So very well back there, Tickle Me Pink. She's now the clear third favourite for that 3-year-old Ruby at $5.50. There's a decent move for Sunny Glennis, $6 into $4.20. 1,000 each way at $6, 1,000 each way at $5.50, the largest bets there. So she managed to place there, but definitely one to keep an eye on in the north. Missing out altogether, $1,000 each way, McGilligan Point at 16. There was $1,800 on Agostini at $2.90 and $2,300 at $2.80. And there was a $4,000 bet, Infatuation, at $3.60.
Well, speaking of infatuation, so many harness fans would have been looking at Winton on Saturday with New May Collect competing there. And yeah, the Tisbury Tornado, he's home again.
Yeah, he bolted in again, really. Continues building his little picket fence form line there. $20,000 bet, $10,000 bet, $9,000 bet, and three $2,000 bets. All just sort of put them on, cash them in at $1.12. Stylish Memphis, she cemented her place in the jewels there. A couple of $8,000 bets on at $1.70, as well as $3,900 and $4,000 bets at $1.55. And another impressive winner, Wild West, strolled around on debut, winning by 12 lengths. $6,000 on at $2 and a couple of $1,000 bets at $1.80. Another impressive winner, Justice Sec, was unlucky on debut, but he won well to the delight of punters there. $12,000 at $1.80, $3,000 bet at $1.70. Luckily for us, there was a couple that were backed and didn't win. Hampton, a couple of $1,000 bets at $1.85, $3,000 and $1,600 bet at $1.80. There was $4,000 on Miss Fandango at $2.30 and $2,000 on War Admiral at $2.40.
Okay, and Sunday, Timmer, of course, Mother's Day, and a tough finish for the week.
Yeah, tough for us, Jess. The punters were all over it there. Most of the day, really, especially top three bets again. The Sunday seems to be the top three day lately. The best, $3,000 on Victor Tango to run the top three at $4. There was $4,000 on Prince Art to run the top three at $1.75. Decent win bets got home there, $1,500 and $1,000 on Gemma Mac at $3.20, and there was $1,500 on Tyron's Chibella at $4.40. Decent move early on, race 3 there for Kathy Brown, $2.90 into $2.40. There was $1,000 at $2.50 was the largest, but there was a whole stack of bets just under that on her. And the other one we were happy to see run down was Field the Money in the last. There was $1,000 and $4,000 on at $2.50, $2,000 and $1,000 also at $2.40. So there's quite a large liability on her. So her running second was quite good. Okay,
in terms of the multi of the week, what have you labelled this time round?
A great little four-leg multi at Forbury Park. Look both ways at $2.30 onto Qatari Elite to run the top three at $2.35. Parama to win at $2.20, and Delightful Deal coming from last right down the outside at $3.20. So an exciting finish to that multi there. 150 turned into 5,707, and I was quite happy to see that they had Qatari Elite just to run the top three. Had they put it in to win instead, the return would be close to 20,000.
Oh, jeepers! And in terms of the cash outs of the week, what have we got?
The worst cash out there, a $55 three-leg multi on Sunday. Flicker of Gold to run the top three, $4.20 at the Invercargill Gallops. Tyron's Chibella to win at $3.80, and was ending on Our Rick at the Auckland Greyhounds at $2.10. Would have returned $1,843, and they all came in, but this bet was cashed out for $931 before Our Rick won by 6 lengths. So let us off the hook there. And the best cash out, a $200 multi at Winton. Stylish Memphis, $1.75. Wild West, no worries there, $2. And on to Hampton, was ending on Hampton at $1.85. So that $200 multi set to return $1,295, but very wisely cashed out for $626 before Hampton ran second.
Yeah, good on them too. And a busy enough week, we've got Premier Harness racing up again.
Great night at Addington on Friday. Before that, we're at Cambridge on Thursday. Addington, the New Zealand Oaks, the 2-year-old size stakes final, 2-year-old trot size stakes, the Sale Series 2-year-old fillies final, and the 3-year-old trotters, also Sales Series final, so some great racing there. We've also got Auckland chipping in as well on Friday night, Gore on Saturday, and Oamaru on Sunday with the last chance saloon for the horses trying to qualify for the Jewels.
Yep, it's all on this week. Richard, I know you're a busy man there getting ready for the dog markets for the day, so thank you as always, and good luck framing those final Jewels markets.
Yeah, not a problem. Jess, there's a few withdrawals coming and going again. Just this morning there's been a couple come out, so everything's sort of moving around all the time.
Fantastic. We'll catch you again next week for the latest. Thanks, Richard.
Good on you. Thanks, Jess.
And coming up harness racing wise this week, starting off Thursday night, we've got the Waikato Bay of Plenty racing action at Cambridge. That does include heats of the National Amateur Drivers Championship. On Friday, we've got Premier Harness Racing at Addington Raceway, including the New Zealand Oaks, and of course Alexandra Park on Friday night as well, the support card. Saturday, we've got Gore Harness Racing action, and on Sunday, Oamaru with the cut-off to the Jewels getting ever closer. And that is it for this week's Harness Half Hour. Thanks to Airpark Canterbury and of course HRNZ Marketing. Don't forget you can find the podcast in various avenues. You can find it on the HRNZ website, through the HRNZ Facebook page, on the Punters Lounge, which is on tab.co.nz, on Spotify and also iTunes.